Thanks for tuning in. I'm Choi Gyu-yeon. Last weekend's candlelight vigil held in front of the prosecutor's office in southern Seoul was reminiscent of the nationwide protest 3 years ago that eventually led to former President Park Geun-hye's impeachment. Although there were conflicting reports about the number of participants, it was the largest demonstration seen in the past 3 years, a telling sign that people want Korea's prosecution to be reformed.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a stage is set up on one side of the 8-lane avenue between the Supreme Prosecutors Office and the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office. About an hour later, a throng of protesters take up all but one lane of the 150-meter-wide road. When a crowd pours out of nearby Seocho Station at 5 p.m., police removes all the barricades. At 6 p.m., the candlelight festival begins. The crossroads in front of Seocho Station were packed with protesters, and their candlelights could even be seen at the next subway station near Seoul National University of Education. When the protest reached its peak around 7:30, people filled the east-west roads from Seoul National University of Education station to the front of the Supreme Court and the north-south stretch from Seocho Station toward the Seoul Arts Center. Protesters came from all around the country as the assembly was publicized online in advance.
전주에서 지금 5시간 걸려가지고 지금 올라왔고 아이들이 더 살기 좋은 세상을 만들기 위해서 힘을 보태려고 나왔습니다.
Protesters demonstrated their deep-rooted distrust toward the prosecution as they shouted toward the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office building, where an investigation into Justice Minister Cho Guk is underway. They claim that the probe was politically motivated in order to stop the administration from overhauling the prosecution.
현재 정치 활동을 하고 있다고 생각하시나요?
전 100% 정치 활동을 하고 있다고 생각합니다.
Demonstrators voiced their support for the government's reform drive that aims to pull back what it sees as excessive prosecutorial authority.
검찰개혁, 사법개혁이야말로 진정한 개혁, 민주주의로 나아가는 출발점이다!
Meanwhile, protest organizers claim that 2 million people showed up for the rally amid conflicting reports on the number of participants.